Want to run faster, jump higher, move with more power? The Sports Recovery and Development Program at Bridges Therapy Group builds speed, strength, agility, and endurance while correcting movement issues that can cause injury. Give your athlete the edge. Schedule an assessment today at srdathlete.com.
Love where you live and play with Lindsay Management. Affordable apartments and golf memberships at 9 and 18-hole courses. Buying or selling? Trust Lindsay and Associates. Serving the community for over 50 years. Lindsay, #1 in apartments, golf, and real estate.
The opportunity here, it was something I couldn't pass up. It was the opportunity to be able to take something that wanted life breathed into it, and to take something and be able to build it. When I got this job, the first thing I told the staff was, guys, I've never been in high school. What may seem easy to you and routine to you could be very foreign to me.
This is Varsity Vibe Stories, brought to you by Lewis Automotive. For 15 years, Dom Mirocke helped run offenses for multiple universities around the country, from a grad assistant at Wyoming to an offensive quality coach at South Dakota State to Henderson State, and most recently, an assistant head coach and offensive coordinator at Arkansas Tech. But being a high school head coach was something he always wanted to be, and when the opportunity arose at Fort Smith Northside, it was one that he couldn't pass up. Now he's fulfilling a childhood dream and bringing his collegiate experience to the Grizzlies. When this job opened up and you thought to yourself, I want an opportunity to be a head coach on the high school level after so many years at the collegiate level, what was it about the Northside job that attracted you?
When I left college, I feel that Northside has brought me to high school. I feel that Northside, the opportunity here, just from tradition and history and obviously recruiting in this state for 8 years, knowing the types of players that have came from, the River Valley and Fort Smith and Northside High School in particular, that was appealing to me, and I like the grittiness of this place. I like it's blue collar. Those are the things that attracted me, but I just think that the opportunity here, it was something I couldn't pass up. It was the opportunity to be able to take something that wanted life breathed into it, and to take something and be able to build it, because you can build in high school. And that was one of the appeals to me, is you can build and produce something sustainable. And I feel that this place has all the tools to do it. I feel that it has, from a facility to a talent to a structure, and from the organization standpoint, I think it has that. And I believe it has it, and I've seen it. And that was really the appeal, is that it was, Northside is what brought me here. That was, and Northside being Northside with his brand, that's what was appealing to me.
I've read a little bit about your story. Your grandfather was a longtime high school football coach. What did you learn from watching him, from growing up around a coaching family, that you have really wanted you to kind of follow in those footsteps at some point in your career?
So growing up, my grandfather passed when I was 8. So I know more about him through the stories that I've heard from other people. My dad played for him. I've got 3 uncles that played for him. And more importantly, I've got a whole lot of other people that were family friends that played for him. And so being able to hear the stories about him, from the time that I was growing up till present day, that's what I've learned more about him, just through other people, because he was, I was young when he passed. And even when I was young, just wanting to be, the dream was to be a high school offensive line coach and teach history. That I thought, if I could do that, then I'm living the life. And growing up, that's what I wanted to do. I went to college to pursue my teaching degree, because that was still the plan. And obviously my path took a different route to where I am today. But I think what had a huge impact on me really wanting to go to high school after so long at the college level was just hearing about the impact that you can make and seeing the impact that you can make on kids. That, well, we obviously want to win, and that's our mission, and that's our really our main objective as coaches, it's more than that. It's being able to get kids prepared for the next level, whether they want to go to college and play, or they want to go to college and be a student, or they want to go to a technical college or a community college, or go into the workforce or join the military, to teach them how to be prepared for that next step in whatever their life's calling going to be.
So what took you to the college ranks before the high school ranks?
Uh, I wanted to chase the college dream. Plain and
Okay.
simple. I played Division II football, and I remember we played our last game on a Saturday, and I was in staff meeting the very next Monday, ready to go, going to learn about being in recruiting and coaching the position that I had played. And I started out in the spring at my alma mater, Emporia State, in the spring of 2010, and then had an opportunity to go somewhere new. Had an opportunity to get a start on my career away from where I've been, and jumped at it. And then just college football took me all around. And that's really what it was, is the more I was in college, the more I felt drawn to that environment. And I did it for 15 years and chased it all over.
What do you think you learned about yourself as a college coach and growing on that big of a stage at Arkansas Tech and Henderson State, and being able to kind of go out on the recruiting trail and understand what it was like to recruit on a college level? What'd you learn about yourself as a coach?
But you have to stay relentless. You have to have that work ethic to where at the college level, it's hard to turn it off. You're on call 24/7, just like you are here. But at the college level, your day never ends. Your day always just extends into the other. Whether you're working on football, you're working on an opponent, you're doing your own self-scout or studying. And then obviously the big thing in college football is recruiting. You're always doing something. And if you're not, you're going to get bypassed. And I think when you take that mentality of you go, that relentlessness and that work ethic has to come through. And my first 6 years of coaching, I was a grad assistant. It wasn't like I was a full-time coach at 26 years old going into year 3. I did it for 6 years. And when you're a graduate assistant or a quality control analyst, you're always busy. You better be the first one in and the last one out. And that's something that, for the people that I've worked with who were influential to me, that's something that after 6 years going to Henderson and then being at Tech, and then even here, taking that mentality, it's like it's never left. Once it's ingrained in you, it doesn't leave.
Were you so busy all those years, obviously doing college coaching, that were you thinking about high school opportunities at all, or was obviously just focusing on what you were doing in the day to day?
I think you if you're thinking about other stuff, then you're going to get bypassed.
Yeah.
The opportunity really to go to high school came a little bit more, started to weigh a little bit more heavier on me when I had kids, to be honest. Is I've got 2 little boys, they're 7 and 3, and I'll never forget this last year, opening up here on this one, is that this last, in 2024, I'm sitting in a city in Oklahoma about ready to go play a game. And, my son's about to go play a flag football game, and he's 6 hours away, and I'm not there to see it. And you think about all those things that you miss when you're at that college environment and the things that you have to sacrifice for. At that point, it was, what was really important. And getting that opportunity to be around my boys and my wife a lot more, that was what was part of heavily appealing about wanting to come to high school, because you're not recruiting, you're not out doing this, the season ends on a Saturday and you're getting into the car to go recruit your out of state area. And to have the opportunity to take a step back and spend more time with them, that was a lot of it too. I'm still busy and I still sacrificed as it is even at the high school level, but it's I get to spend more time with them, and I don't have zero regrets about it.
How happy are your boys to have you around a little bit more? Do they understand daddy sacrifice a little bit? Maybe your 7-year-old does.
No, they don't, just because they were so young. The 7-year-old
Yeah.
does, he did. And I think the more that he sees me home, even earlier in the night, I think he's starting to register that if dad can pick him up, then that's different. And that's weird, because dad has never been able to really pick him up. from school. And thankfully they go to the same school. They're right down the street. So when I get a chance to go get them from school, it fires me up more than it excites them.
How much do you bring them around your guys at Northside and implement that family atmosphere with your team?
So we're a little bit different in our schedule wise. So we practice in the morning. So we practice from 7 to 8:30 in the morning. So for them to be around practice is hard. For them to be here in the afternoon is hard because we'll meet from 3:40 to 4:40, and they don't really get a chance to get out. I don't want to bring them out of school early just to be around football, but they'll come in on Sundays. They'll hang out for a little bit, and then obviously for the games, they're dressed in their Grizzly gear, and they're chanting "Grow Grizzlies" and throwing a football around and running around like crazy. So when they get a chance to be around, I want them around. We've got other kids on staff that, our defensive coordinator, his son is at every practice. He's at every practice, helps out with games, and he's out there with games. And we've got other members on staff that have their kids around quite a bit. So I openly encourage it.
Mirocke has gone from recruiting high school talent to coaching it. Coming up after this, his advice to his athletes who want to play at that next level and why he feels he has the best staff around him.
If you're an athlete that wants to improve your game, maybe improve your 40, jump higher, have better agility, Bridges Therapy Group's Sport Recovery and Development Program can help. They've been helping student athletes reach their highest potential for quite a while now. They've got a team that includes physical therapists, athletic trainers, personal trainers, and occupational therapists. And together, they design individual plans to build speed, explosive power, agility, strength, and endurance. Whether your athlete's returning from rehab or working for a competitive edge, SRD provides the training and guidance to help them succeed. Schedule your athlete's assessment today at srdathlete.com.
Quick Turf is the go-to team for building championship-level sports facilities for public schools, private schools, and the entire school district. They also install beautiful backyard putting greens for homeowners. Known for lifelike, eco-friendly turf, Quick Turf handles everything from design and lighting to drainage and final landscaping. Their all-in-one approach delivers high-performance surfaces for athletes and low-maintenance greens that last for years. With preventative maintenance programs, they keep every field and green looking game day ready. Schedule a free consultation today at quickturf.com. That's QIKturf.com.
Matt Lewis with Lewis Automotive Group, excited to announce our trade-in, trade-up event. During this event, you get thousands extra for your trade value. Plus, it's all backed by the Lewis Guarantee. Double the factory warranty. That's a 10-year, 120,000-mile powertrain. Plus, you get 1 year worth of maintenance on us. This event's only going on at Lewis Automotive Group and is at all of our locations in Fayetteville, Springdale, and Farmington.
Could a little extra support help your child shine even brighter? Bridges Therapy Group empowers kids to live their best life with expert pediatric therapy services tailored to their needs. Their team offers occupational therapy, speech therapy, and physical therapy, guiding families from the first evaluation to every milestone along the way. Give your child the tools to succeed and shine. Visit btgpeds.com to learn more and schedule your appointment today. That's btgpeds.com.
Love where you live and play with Lindsay Management. Enjoy affordable apartments with community amenities like fitness centers and resort-style pools at select locations. Golf memberships are also available at beautiful 9 and 18-hole courses. Buying or selling a home, commercial, or investment property? Trust Lindsay and Associates, serving the community and bringing great neighbors together for over 50 years. Lindsay, #1 in apartments, golf, and real estate.
What's your mentality when you spend the last couple of years recruiting high school and now you're pouring into these high school athletes so they can be recruited if that's what they want to do? How does that perspective really help when you've been on the other side and now you're helping these kids achieve these dreams that they have?
You want to tell them and be very open, transparent, and more importantly, blunt about the recruiting process. The recruiting process is a business. I always like to tell our kids that there was never one head coach that told me to offer a kid and I offered him because of what the head coach said. It all comes down to the fit, and is that player fit a college environment? And then all the other intangibles. Do they have the size, the speed, the athletic ability, the character, the grades? But just to explain to them what the reality of recruiting is that at the end of the day, my reference can only go so far because they're going to see what you put on tape. And if they like what you put on tape, then they're going to come to me for a reference, but they're not going to seek my opinion unless they are attracted to your tape and your ability is appealing to them. And so, we've got other coaches that have been on staff at the college level, and they can explain it to them. But I think when you can sit there and tell a player for 15 years, this is what I did. In the last 8 years, this is what I did recruiting in this state. This is the reality of recruiting. And you have to have the ability, and then you have to have all the other intangibles, from being high character to the grades, and then the intangibles that I can't coach, which is just ultimately size and speed. And so I think credibility of doing it goes a long way with these kids.
Hey, speaking of your staff, when you got the opportunity to put the guys together in the places that you wanted, you went out, and I know that you got to really kind of handpick guys that you felt were going to be able to support you as a head coach. And that includes a guy like Johnny Gibson, who played for the Razorbacks and played on that SEC stage. I mean, when you were piecing these guys together, what were you looking for?
I was looking for one, just really, really good coaches. I didn't care what position they coached or if they had experience. If I was looking for a defensive coach, if they didn't have any defensive experience, maybe like a guy like Johnny, who spent his whole, his short career all on offense, but he had great communication skills, and he had the personality that the kids would be drawn to him. And I think that is just so valuable in coaching at any level, is can you communicate and can you get the kids to play hard? And Johnny brings credibility because he's played 28 games straight at the University of Arkansas and had the opportunity to go to the next level after that. So for him, he has credibility right off the bat just because of his playing career, and then not only on top of that, he's a really good coach. He's a really good communicator, and the kids play hard for him. It's the same thing that when we went out to go find a defensive coordinator, Brett Schrabel, who's been a coordinator at some smaller schools, but you look at his record, their defenses has always gotten better every year that he was there. And just have a guy like that who can run our defense and really serve as like a head coach on that side of the ball, I think that was huge for me. And then, being able to add another coach, Josh Davis, who I coached at Henderson for 1 year. He was an All-American linebacker. And then Aaron Archie, who's on staff, I worked with him for 2 years at Tech. So for 2 years, he and I have been through the highs and lows together. And so I know what we get with him. And just being able to add people that are great at communicating, they have the personality and the mentality that the kids are going to play hard for them. And on top of that, they're great coaches.
How have they helped you so far, very early in your head coaching career?
To pinpoint something is hard because, when I got this job, the first thing I told the staff was, guys, I've never been in high school. What may seem easy to you and routine to you could be very foreign to me. And so not only with these new guys, but even the existing guys on staff that are here, every single one of them have done a great job of just helping me, and I look back and it's like I was an assistant for 15 years. And when you're an assistant, all you hear is make the head coach's job easier. Do what you can to take something off of them. And every single one of those guys have in some form or fashion done that. They've done something to take something off of my plate or filled in for me when I couldn't be around because I'm out doing something else. Mm-hmm. They all stepped up and have been willing to take on more responsibility. And the great thing is that when they say they're going to do something, it's going to get done, and it's going to be done the way that you want. But, not only the new guys, but even the guys that have been here with a lot of experience.
It's so important to have that support around you. Question: on August 29th, when you stepped on that football field for the very first time as a head coach, how are you feeling? What were you thinking?
I'm going to be honest. It happened fast. Mm-hmm. when you go into a game like that, one thing I was always told was, are you excited for a rivalry? Because this is a rivalry. There's going to be lots of people there. And, and I've been fortunate just in my career to stand at the 50-yard line in some pretty impressive places. And I've been in some really unique, intense environments, whether it's been up in the coach's box or even on the field. And, when you go out to an environment like that, you get excited about it, but when you're focused on what's the task at hand, and that's to go lead a team out there to go play ball, you just, same thing I tell the kids, you ignore the noise, ignore the environment. It don't matter. That game's going to be just as intense if there's one person in the stands. So if there was 10,000 people there, there wasn't much difference between 10,001 and me. It was just, you go out, you play, and I couldn't be awestruck by the environment, because if I was like that, then the kids were going to be like that.
But how excited are you to just see what you're able to accomplish as a head coach and see the impact down the road that you can make at Northside?
I see the growth day to day, and when you see that growth day to day, and, as any program, you're going to have highs, you're going to have lows. Some days you're going to run into a speed bump, and then you really can see what your team is made of, because if you never go through any adversity, then you're never going to know what type of team you really have.
At the time of this conversation, Northside 0-2 to start the 2025 season. Mirocke has instilled a team mentality of learning and moving on from play to play and game to game. There's a lot of football left for this Northside Grizzlies team. That's it for Varsity Vibes Stories. Thank you so much for joining us. A special shout out to our sponsors, Lindsay, Lewis Automotive, Bridges Therapy Group, and Quick Turf. I'll be back again with more stories to tell.